My name is Dr. Divya Mishra, and today we are going to discuss email writing and how can you ace your placement process with the help of effective email writing. So you might be wondering what is special about email writing, why to learn email writing. Everybody knows how to read, how to write. Then what is special about email writing? But as you know that if you can speak properly, doesn't make you a good communicator. Similarly, if you know how to write, doesn't make you a good email writer. So there are certain tips and tricks that you need to keep in your mind while you are writing an email in a professional world. And according to a research, you might wonder that according to a research, uh, around 2.5 hours or 3 hours a day we spend in dealing with emails. So that's why it is very important to learn how to write an email, what is the purpose of email, to whom I'm sending that email, and the language. So there are certain things we need to keep in mind while talking about email writing. So first of all, it is very important, as you can see in this page in front of you, building the right foundation. Foundation is very necessary when we talk about email writing. As you can see here, every email has a purpose. Without purpose, communication is a failure. You will never be successful in your communication. So in last few sessions, Honey ma'am had taken sessions about effective communication. So she might have told you about the importance of communication skills. So whenever we talk about communication skills, purpose is very important. You must know your purpose before giving any presentation, before writing email, or before presenting any seminar, any conference. You must know the purpose. So either of these may have your purposes, like to educate or inform can be one purpose of your email. You want to make a request through your email, you want to make an introduction through your email, or you just want to respond to that email which you have already received. Suppose let's take example of your job opportunity. You are looking for a job, so you will have to write an email related to job inquiry, or you might have to write an email in the form of follow-up email. Suppose you had inquired but you did not receive any response from the employer. So in that case, you will have to write an email that is related to follow-up of the previous message. So you need to know what is the purpose of your email. You want to educate, you want to inform, or you want to just make a request, you want to introduce something, you want to introduce a person, you want to introduce a product, or you just want to respond to that email. So purpose is very important to understand. Understand the purpose of your email and write a message that honors that purpose. So understanding the purpose is very important. Suppose if you talk about, you are going to write an email related to a product launch event day after tomorrow in your company, all right, but you are writing an email in a way that is not serving the purpose. So the purpose of the email will be failed. So in that case, you need to know the purpose and write a message that honors that purpose. So purpose alignment is very necessary when we talk about effective email writing. Review for purpose alignment. This is the very important part of email. So we are currently discussing building the right foundation, why it is important to understand the purpose, how you can align your message with the purpose. After that, we will discuss structure of email, types of email, and some examples of email, and communication skills that we need to follow while we are writing email. So make sure the purpose is clearly communicated. And once you know the purpose, then rewrite a message not aligned with the purpose. So proofreading is very important in that case. Suppose you started writing an email, so don't just send it outrightly. You need to review it, you need to proofread it in order to find out if there is any mistake and rewrite it. And the third point you can see here, keep messages to one or two purposes. Do not write so many things in your email. It needs to be concise. Write as minimum words as possible and write only one to two purposes in your email writing. If you're writing so many points in your email, the purpose of the email will be lost. So it is important to stick to one or two messages in your email writing. And if you know what is the purpose of your email, it will help you to remove distraction. As you can see here, you must know your purpose. And once you have known your purpose, you must write to that purpose. And when you have written to that purpose, remove the rest. You have known what is my purpose of email writing, then you will write according to that purpose. And once you have written it, you will proofread it. You will try to find if you have written something which is not aligning with the purpose of my email. If that it is so, you will remove rest of the things. Be concise. You need to write as minimum words as possible. So you need to just convey your message in the form of clear communication. But that conciseness should not be at the cost of clarity. All right. Suppose I'm giving you an example. Let's meet tomorrow for a product launch event. You send this email to anyone. All right. But date is missing, venue is missing, time is missing in this message. So this kind of conciseness is not required when we talk about effective communication. Conciseness should not be at the cost of clarity. So it is very important to understand these things. Then distract less. Distract less means you need to find out the purpose, align your message with the purpose, and do not distract from the main point. Do not deviate yourself from the main point. Whatever is the purpose, you should write your message according to that purpose in your email. As you can see this image, can anyone tell me with the help of chat box that what kind of message it is conveying, this image, what kind of message it is conveying? Suppose you received an email and you have this kind of face expression while you are reading it. What kind of message does it convey? Can anyone tell me? Yes. Akash, confusing, very good. Confusing after reading the email, not clear with the purpose, not able to understand the email. Yes, Tanay, confused. Okay, so it means you got the right point. Whenever you send any email, nobody should have this kind of facial expression. So you must try to write in a clear way, understanding your purpose, aligning your message with that purpose, and write only 2 to 3 things in that message. Means 2 to 3 purposes. And then this is the most important part about that message. Once you have understood your purpose, you need to understand that your message must be clear, must be concise, must be communicated well, and not crowded out. Not crowded out means it should not have too many messages. If you talk about if you understood the purpose, like suppose you want to convince anyone, you want to persuade anyone through your email, so do not try to overcrowd that email. You need to keep it restricted to 1 or 2 purposes. That's it. This is an example. This is a scenario. For example, your boss is preparing for a meeting. She may ask you for a bunch of technical information about the project you are working on. All right, try to read it, please. I'm requesting all of you to read it. She might not share everything that you share in a meeting, but she wants to be up to date and ready to talk about the project. Please read it and then try to understand the scenario. So how will you start writing this email? You have to send technical information to your boss related to a project. So then you need to be very attentive while sending this email. Purpose and message alignment, you can see here. What is the purpose? Provide boss with technical information for meeting. This is the purpose of email writing. Okay, so and then you have to align your message with the purpose. So you need to prepare a checklist 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are the things my boss requires for this particular project. So I need to send these many things. Make sure you do not send any irrelevant material, any irrelevant information, because that may distract your boss from the main purpose of that email. So your message needs to be aligned with the purpose. So reviewing is very important. Reviewing means proofreading. When you review your message, you should find it to be completely aligned with the defined purpose. In this scenario, as you can see here, the purpose was to provide boss with the technical information for meeting, and the And the person who is ready to help for that project, that person must ensure that it needs to be aligned with the purpose. Then work backwards from your purpose. This is again very important. Create a message based on the purpose. Review to ensure it is aligned with the purpose, and remove anything that is not aligned with the purpose. Suppose you have written any information that is not directly related to the information that has been asked from you, so you should remove that information. So this was all about building the right foundation, how you should understand the purpose, how you should make your message aligned with the purpose, then create, review, and remove. These are the important tips and tricks that you need to remember. Let me share another slide with you related to email writing. Types of email. Once you have understood the purpose of the email and how to align your message with the purpose, you need to understand what are the types of email you may have to write in future. So types of email at workplace, because we are talking about professional email. So there are 4 primary types of email at workplace. No reply email, inquiry email, no reply email where you are not supposed to send any kind of response. You must have seen this kind of message in your email ID, like this is an automated email. You're not supposed to send any response to that email. So that is called no reply email. Inquiry email, suppose you are doing job inquiry, or you inquired about a book, you inquired about a project, you inquired about a product. So that is inquiry email. Open-ended email means you are just open-ended means if you want to send a response to that email, you can. Otherwise, you are not asked to send that email, respond to that email. That is open-ended email. And the last one is action email. The sender wants you to take an action on that email. Suppose you want to write an email related to a job application. So you want the HR person to send you an email related to the reply of the email. Suppose you are writing an email related to leave. You want to take leave while you are working somewhere. So you want the other person, the receiver of the message, to take any action on that email. So that is called action email. Or suppose complaint email. If you are lodging a complaint related to a product, suppose you purchase any product and it stopped working within 2 days of purchase. So definitely you will lodge a complaint, and you will, if you are sending an email to the vendor, so that vendor is supposed to send you a response email. So that will come in under the category of action email. So same thing is explained here. For no reply email, reply is not required as it is understood. These are also called automated email. And if you are sending this type of email, you want to tell the receiver something, either a compliment or information. For example, you get emails from HR, finance, or IT cell. Sometimes you get reports from finance department that these are the expenditure, but you're not supposed to reply to that email. So this will come under that category. This is an example of automated email. You can see here. Information is written here, and this is system generated email. Please do not reply. So this is called no reply email. I'm just supposed to receive the information. I'm not supposed to send them any kind of response over this email. So this is no reply email. Then inquiry email or request and reply email. Most emails in the workplace fall into this category, because as if you see from your point of view, you might have to send in future job inquiry email or follow up email. So it will come under this category. This kind of email could ask questions, specify tasks people need to complete, or ask colleagues to acknowledge or comment on policies, meetings, or projects. So it can be anything. You can ask anything in that email. You need something from the receiver in a reply email. For example, advice, answers, reports. This is also called, that's why it is also called request and reply email. Example of request and reply email you can see here. How can we receive this PPT, Muhammad Ali? I did not get you. What do you mean by how can you receive this PPT? Is it not visible to you, Muhammad Ali? Is it not visible to you? Can you please tell me again what actually do you want? Is this PPT visible to everyone? Okay, okay. Okay, he wants me to share the PPT with him. Okay, I will definitely share you. Whenever you will come to the campus, I'll definitely share this PPT with you. Okay, so you can see this example of inquiry email or reply and request and reply email. Human resources considering implementing a casual dress policy in workplace. Please provide feedback on the questions below as management considers changing its current policy. Increasingly, staff are noting that they would feel more comfortable and productive in the work environment if they were able to dress casually. However, there is no agreement on what constitutes an acceptable level of dressing down at your company. Here are some questions to consider. So these questions, the receiver is supposed to read these questions and respond to these questions. What can be considered casual dress policy while remaining professional? Should your policy restrict body art such as tattoos and piercings? What policies? So if you read it, you will find that this is clearly communicated email where the purpose is to request advice on these questions, the questions which has been asked here. Last line you can see here, your input would be greatly appreciated. Your opinions can then be discussed at the managers meeting on October 1. Please respond to the above question by May 29. He has clearly mentioned the date that by this date you have to respond to this email. If you have any questions and concerns, feel free to email me. Thanks. So this is clearly communicated message where call to action is clearly mentioned. Whenever we write any email, call to action must be mentioned. What kind of action do you expect from the reader of the email? You should not write ambiguous email. Ambiguous email, I think you understand this term, ambiguous, something which is not clear, not transparent. So when it comes to email writing, everything must be crystal clear. Whatever information you want from the receiver, you should write it in a clear manner. Next is open-ended email. To keep communication lines open for the purpose of future results or benefits. This kind of email creates a permanent written record of a conversation. As I told you earlier, open-ended email, you're not supposed to send any kind of response to that email. It is for the purpose of proof. It is for the purpose of future results or benefits. You can keep it for future, and whenever you want to give reference to that email, you can do it. So that's why it is called open-ended email. This kind of email creates a permanent written record of a conversation that has taken place. For example, if you and a colleague discussed collaborating on a project over lunch, you might send them an email with the details of that conversation. That gives you both a record of the conversation and allows for the conversation to continue if needed. Okay, I told you earlier, if needed, if any response is needed, you think you must send a response to that email, you can. Otherwise, you can keep it for future reference. You can keep it for further discussions. That is called open-ended email. This is an example of open-ended email. I request you all to please go through it so that you can understand how to write open-ended email. Dear Jessica, thank you very much for your marvelous help during our recent store renovation. Your design experience and organizational skills really made a difference in how quickly we were able to reopen, and the new layout you designed already seems to be increasing sales of some items. We are planning a similar renovation of our satellite store on the west side within the next year, and I would like to contact you for your expertise on that project as well when the time draws closure. I have given your name to several executives and clients who inquired about our exciting new look. I hope that this will help you to grow your business as well. Please free to contact me. Should you ever need a professional testimonial, I can promise to write a glowing one for you. Thank you again for your flawless service. I look forward to working with you in future. So this is an open-ended email. If you think that if Jessica thinks that she needs to send any kind of response to that email, she is free to send that email. Otherwise, it is not required. This is for future conversations. Any kind of work you want to do related to this project, So you can start again in future. And then action email. The goal is not the reply, but some action on the part of the receiver. Most of the time, we write this kind of email, action email, where we expect a kind of action from the receiver. For example, asking for a website link change, to approve leave request, to approve attendance, that is related to action email. You want the receiver of the message to take action and do whatever you have requested. So that comes in this category. Okay, that's all about types of email. Let me talk about the most important part, that is the structure of email and how to draft a particular message. Because when we talk about email writing, then subject, salutation, the main body, and the last complementary clause is very important, plays a vital role. You don't know how to write a clear subject, what should be the subject of the email writing and how to write it professionally. So these are the things we are going to discuss in next few minutes. So structure of email is very important. You need to understand to whose email ID you need to write in to, whose email ID you need to write in CC, you need to write in BCC. Is there anyone who understands the difference between to CC and BCC? Can anyone tell me? Okay, nobody responded. So this is the basic structure of email. Addressing, when it comes to write an address, there are three options: to CC and BCC. Most of the time we use T, to. All right, we will discuss it later. Then the subject line, subject, yes, carbon copy. Yes, CC means taking other people in loop. All right. Then the subject line is very important, because subject line decides whether your message will be read or deleted or will be left forever. So subject lines should be very catchy, very interesting, and very you can say to the point. It should convey what kind of message you might write in the email. Then salutation of greetings, depending upon your relationship with the receiver. All right, that kind of message you can, that kind of greetings you can write. Then email text, the most important part of any email is email text. The main part, that this is called the heart of your message. It should be divided into three parts: introduction, development, and conclusion. And the last part is complimentary close. Like you write thanks and regards, or sincerely, yours truly. So that comes under the category of complimentary close. This is very important to be written. And then last part is signature. Since it is in email, so that will be digital signature. You will write your name, you will write your organization's name, you will write your phone number. So these things will be written in the form of signature. Yes, Muhammad Ali, you are right. CC stands for carbon copy and BCC stands for blind carbon copy. Okay, so let's discuss these things one by one. This is the structure. Whenever you want to write and you want to create a new message in your email, so you will see the structure: to CC and BCC, then subject, and then rest of the things you need to write. And there is the send button. So understand the importance of to where do we write emails into. The to field and the subject line are integrated. Each individual in the to field is responsible for taking action. This is very important. There might be person who is directly responsible for answering of your emails. That person's address should be written into. There might be many persons whom you want to keep in loop. That should be written in CC. They should not be written in to line. So each individual in the to field is responsible for taking the action. Message relates directly to them. Okay, and then there is no upper limit to the number of recipients you can write, you can include in the to field. So if there are 10 or even 20 people for whom the mail is directly relevant, you should include all of them in the to field. You just write a comma and you write everybody's email. Okay, there is no upper limit of writing email addresses in the to field. And then CC. CC stands for carbon copy, as Muhammad Ali already told me. No action or response is expected from the individuals in CC line. This is a very important line. In future, if you receive any message and where you are in CC, you're not supposed to take any action, or you're not supposed to send any response to that email. Okay, the recipients needs only to read or file that message for future reference. The individuals whose works are indirectly affected by the communication should be included in CC. Okay, you can write that those persons name in CC whom do you think that it might affect, whatever decision you are taking that might affect their business, their project in future, those persons name you can write in CC. In business emails, the CC field is often used to show recipient that other important people are aware of the email and that the email requires urgent action and needs to be taken seriously. Sometimes you put higher authorities in CC so that people take it as an urgent situation and they will respond to that email immediately. All right. So that for that purpose also we use CC, carbon copy. Now we use it rarely, BCC. Why do we use it rarely? Because we expect transparency when we talk about communication. If there is anything which is not transparent, that is not effective communication. So BCC stands for blind carbon copy. It sends copies of the email to multiple recipients. The only difference being that none of the recipients are made aware of who else has received the email. Now, did you get the difference between CC and BCC? If you're writing 4 addresses in CC, everybody will be aware that this message has also been sent to these many persons. But if you write somebody's name in BCC, the other person will never come to know that this email has been sent to 20 other people. So that is the difference. BCC might be used to keep the names of the recipient a secret to one another, also protect the privacy of the recipient. Okay. Since things are not transparent, it is advised not to use BCC. Use caution while using BCC. This is very important. If someone comes to know that you have been sending emails to them and you have been sending the mails in BCC to someone else as well, the trust level in your relationship can change. And if the trust level is gets changed in your relationship, then definitely it will affect your business. It will affect your project. It will affect your professional relationship. So that's why you should be extra cautious while using this BCC field. Remember, the points to remember: 2 CC and BCC each have different purposes. Use these fields appropriately. Try to understand the purpose of 2, then understand the purpose of CC and BCC, and use according to that purpose. As someone grows from passive recipient to the active part of conversation, you might move them from CC to the 2 field. If somebody is passive recipient, you will write that person's name in CC. But if you think now that person is directly the part of that email, then you will write that person's name in the 2 field again. Knowing how to use it correctly, it can remove confusion and add clarity. Okay, if you are just confused how to use 2CC and BCC, you may not send email to the directly related person. But if you have already known how to use it correctly, then definitely your communication will be effective one. Okay, that's all about the structure of email. Let me share another slide with you. Is it visible to everyone? Subject line, structure of email. Okay. This is the most important part of email writing. The subject line decides that whether your message will be read or deleted, or somebody will pay attention, or somebody will not pay attention, right? How do you decide that any email is a spam? How do you decide? I don't think you open every email, you click every email, then you read it, then you find out this is a spam. No. How do you find out this is spam? With the help of subject line. Congratulations, then 4 exclamation marks. This clearly says that this is a spam. Okay. You have won 1 crore rupees, exclamation marks. This shows that this is a spam. So subject line is very important. Make sure the way you write subject line, it should not convey a message that this is a spam. Otherwise, nobody will click it and read it, because nobody has time nowadays. Everybody has certain important work to do. So if you create urgency with the help of right words and right message, only then the person will read that email. Okay, so subject line is very important. You need to understand what is the purpose of the subject line. To pique interest. If you are arousing interest of the reader, then person will read that email. Keep email from getting deleted. It also helps in keeping an email from getting deleted. If person has a clue that this might be spam, the person will not read that email. So make sure you don't write any kind of words that may say that this is a spam email. We skim to delete. Okay, so because we receive hundred of messages every day, so we cannot read 100 messages. All right, so we skim to delete. We skim what message seems to like a spam. We will not read that message, and then rest of the message we will read. So you can see this something which is written in inverted commas. I need to read this email. So whenever you write any subject line, the receiver should have this kind of feeling that I need to read this email. So that kind of urgency, that kind of importance you should add to the subject line. Three things you need to remember whenever you write subject line. It should catch reader's eyes. How will it catch reader's eyes? It should be brief, it should be clear, it should be direct. These 3 points you should always remember. Doesn't matter what kind of email you are writing. You are writing job offer email, you are writing job inquiry email, you are writing follow-up email, or you are writing an email for leave request, or you are writing an email for promotion. So these 3 things must be kept in your mind always, that your subject line must be brief, must be clear, and must be direct. Be brief means it should have maximum 50 characters. 50 characters means 5 to 7 words. This is an ideal situation. You can have 1 or 2 words more or 1 or 2 words less, but this is an ideal situation that you should have 5 to 7 words. And 20 to 30, 25 to 30 characters means 3 to 5 words. So try to make your subject line as concise as possible. Do not write a complete story in subject line. Otherwise, it will look very unprofessional. Nobody will read that email. Okay. So try to make it very brief. Be clear. Suppose you need to make, yes. Is there any question from Vikram Singh? You have raised your hand. Vikram, do you have any question in your mind? Okay. You need to be very clear while you're writing subject line. So include keywords. Okay. So keywords means something which is directly related to that message. Let me give you a scenario and tell me what is the right subject for this kind of email. You have to take leave due to an accident. You have to take 15 days leave, and you have to write an email related to that scenario. What should be the exact subject line for this? Tell me. I'm again telling you, you have to take 15 days leave because of an accident, and you are writing an email to your boss that you won't be able to come for next 15 days. So what should be the subject line of this email? Can you please write in chat box? I'm waiting for your responses. Tarun Pandey is saying medical leave due to accident. This seems very precise. Okay, seems good. Janvi Malhotra, leave of absence. When you say leave of absence, it is open for interpretation, right? You may be absent because you are going for a vacation for next 15 days. You are going for your brother's marriage. You are going for your sister's marriage. All right. Related to health again, this is Muhammad Ali. This is again very ambiguous. Okay. Yes, if you're writing medical leave for accident or medical leave due to accident, or if you want, you can make it more precise that 15 days leave due to an accident or urgent leave due to accident. So this could be the correct subject line. Okay, so keywords are in the kind of scenario which I gave you. The keywords are 15 days, request for urgent leave due to accident. Yes, Yogesh, this seems very catchy, and this is very this creating a sense of urgency. Request for urgent leave due to accident. So definitely, as soon as the person receives that email, the person will definitely read it and respond to this email because it is showing a kind of urgency. Okay, so you need to understand what the keywords in the scenario where you are going to write an email. Okay, so keywords, the kind of scenario I gave you, uh, leave for 15 days, because everybody can give you 1 or 2 days leave, but nobody will give you 15 days leave unless you create a sense of urgency, or you can show them proof that you have met with an accident, you broke your leg, you broke your hand, something like that. Okay, so keywords are leave, that is medical leave, urgent leave for 15 days, and accident. Yes, that seems good, Gaurav. Unavoidable leave due to chronic chest pain. Yes, that is also including keywords. Leave, chest pain. These are keywords. Means you know how to make your subject line brief, clear, and then imagine a situation where you have to introduce yourself. So introduction, Rohan Malhotra, or you can also write introduction from Rohan Malhotra. That also seems very clear and brief subject line. This is an example of meeting request. You can also write meeting request for next week, or requesting a meeting next week. Okay, so the keywords are request and meeting. If you are applying for a job, what could be the appropriate subject line? Job application, Rohan Malhotra, job applicant, Rohan Malhotra. And if you want to make it more precise, you can also write position for which you are applying. Okay, so that will be more precise. Like you need to be direct. This is brief, this is clear, but this is not direct. You need to direct it. Okay. Senior researcher Rohan Malhotra, job application Rohan Malhotra, PhD, or job application from Rohan Malhotra, senior researcher, something like that. If you have any degree or certificate directly related to your job, you can include it. All right, so that as soon as the person will see that email, the person will get the idea from your subject line that this email is related to Rohan Malhotra, who has PhD degree. Okay, so that will decide whether that person will read your email or not. Okay, so it should be brief, clear, and direct. This is again one example. Some companies have identification number related to your position. So if you have know this, you can include it. Senior researcher number 1234, Rohan Malhotra, PhD. Being direct is especially important for making announcement. For this, you should use action verbs. Okay, action verbs or action. You need to include action verbs while you are writing subject line. You can see example here. Join us for our grand opening. So what is the action verb here? Join. Meet our new CEO. Meet is action verb here. Try our newest product. So try is action verb. So whenever you want to make a subject line clear and compelling, you should use action verbs. You can also be more specific by using date and time. So that will be a quite clear message that you would like to convey with the help of subject line. Join us for our grand opening on April 1st at 3 p.m. As I already told you, you can write maximum 50 characters when you're writing subject line. So in the first example, it has 49 characters. If you want to count, you can count. So join us for our grand opening on April 1st at 3 p.m. So this gives a very clear and effective message that we have to go for grand opening on April 1st at 3 p.m. Even if you do not click that email and read it thoroughly, you will come to know the important message that it conveys. Okay. The second example, grand opening on April 1st at 3 p.m. This again contains 33 characters. It is more specific. You don't have to write complete sentence as long as subject line has all the keywords and gives a clear message. What is the difference do you find in the first and the second one? Join us for grand opening on April 1st at 3 p.m. and grand opening on April 1st at 3 p.m. Do you find any difference in these two subject lines? Can anyone tell me? Gaurav Kumar, are you there? Can you tell me the difference between these two subject lines? Yes, because the last line is he wants to join us. The first one is an invitation for others to join. Okay, Janvi. First one is an invitation for others to join. Second is just kind of an intimation. Okay, correct? Okay. Gaurav Kumar, in the first one, they are inviting us. Yes, that is the difference. The second one is, you can say more specific because it has less number of words. All right. So people can get confused, right? Whether you are inviting that particular person or not, even if you are inviting that person. So the first one, join us for grand opening on April 1st, 3 p.m. It seems clear message from a sender to the receiver. Okay. So you need to just remember one thing, max you should try to write maximum 50 characters in your subject line. It should not cross 50 or maximum 55, not more than that. You can see the example, meet our new CEO. And the second one is meet ABC's new CEO. So the second subject line seems clearer because it is stating the who is our, that is ABC's, the product, that company. Try our newest product and try ABC's newest product. This is something which is written in red line that is more specific and more clear. You can see the next example, meeting request for next week. This seems ambiguous information. All right, if you're writing an email related to this subject, meeting request for next week, nobody will understand when is the meeting, what is the menu of the meeting, what is the duration of that meeting, whether it will last for 1 hour, 2 hour, 15 minutes, 10 minutes. It is not clear. All right, so if you have the detail, being more specific can be helpful. So you can compare these two examples which is written in front of you. Meeting request, marketing plan for new product. So it is stating the agenda, all right, that we will be discussing a marketing plan for new product. And in the second one, it is telling the time and the date and the venue, all right. So both subjects are clear. One is clear in the terms of agenda, and the second is clear in terms of the timing and the venue and the date of that meeting. So meeting request 11 a.m. May 10 in room A. All right. So these both the subject lines are correct. If you want to cancel any meeting, if you just write meeting cancelled, suppose you have received 3 4 emails related to a meeting, different meetings, so you will be just confused. All right, so you need to again write specific message, cancelled colon meeting for 11 a.m. May 10. That seems better. And the second one, cancelling 11 a.m. meeting on May 10, that is also better. Okay, so you, whenever you write subject line, try to understand it from recipient's point of view, because audience is very important when it comes to email writing. When we talk about communication, it is a two-way process, right? You need to understand the receiver's interest, expectations, what kind of relation do you have with the other person. So whenever you write email or whenever you write subject line, try to understand it from receiver's point of view. What if I had received this kind of email? So how would I have reacted? Okay. So and then try to proofread it, review it, and remove some kind of information if you think, and then try to write in a better way. Never write such kind of subject lines, hi, meeting, questions, some thoughts, one more thing. Okay, these are quite ambiguous. A big no to such kind of subject lines. Never ever write such kind of subject lines. Okay, and the most important part related to your email writing is capitalization. Okay, capitalization means when you write a particular character in capital letters. So capitalization rules should also be applied when writing subject line. This is very important when it comes to effective email writing. You are working in any organization or you will work in any organization. So your first impression is created with the help of your writing skills. Okay, definitely. Suppose you are looking for a job, you will write an email, or you will write a job inquiry email, or you will write a follow-up email. So first impression will be built then and there. So it should be written in a clear and effective way, in a correct way. So capitalization is very important for that. So this capitalization rule must be applied while you are writing subject line. Can you see capitalization here? Conference on Tuesday. C is capital, on O is small, and the T is capital in Tuesday. Okay, so conference on Tuesday, C capital, T capital. So you need to capitalize only important words, not prepositions. Okay, so on, for, at, over. So these are prepositions. So never capitalize these words. Can you tell me which of these lines is capitalized correctly? Any one of you? 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you see it here? Okay, correct. Answer is correct. 3. Meeting with David on Monday. With is preposition, on is preposition, so that's why it is not capitalized. So remember, whenever you write an email, suppose you write urgent leave for 15 days due to accident. Can you please write it in your chat box? Urgent leave for 15 days due to accident in correct capitalization. Suppose this is the subject of your email, urgent leave for 15 days due to an accident. How will you write it in according to capitalization rule? Please write it in your chat box. Urgent leave for 15 days due to accident. Yes, Yogesh. Very nice. Correct. Muhammad Ali, urgent leave for 15 days due to accident. This is also correct. Pratibha, urgent leave. No, Pratibha, leave will L will be capital. Urgently, Gaurav Kumar, urgently due to 15 days due to a no. Never ever write all words in capital. It seems you are shouting. Okay. So only important words, one character of that important word should be in capital. Okay. Never write everything in bold letters. It gives you a kind of impression as if you are shouting. Urgent Minakshi, you will be capital. You will be capital in this. Accident A will be capital Janvi. You will be capital. Okay. So let's review 3 important points. It should be brief, it should be clear, it should be direct. Okay, important details and action verbs and capitalization, very important. You must remember because most of the time I receive emails from students, so they never capitalize important words. So this is very important. If you write everything in small letters, it gives a very bad impression. So you must write important words except prepositions in capital letters. Some experts suggest that you should not write the subject line until you have completed the email. However, I suggest that you should. Why? Because sometimes whenever you will read something about email writing, they will say that never write the subject line before you complete writing email. When you have written complete email, then review it, then write subject line. But however, I suggest you that you should write subject line in the beginning. Why? Because it will give you the clear direction. Why are you writing this email? The purpose will be clear, so your message will be aligned with that purpose, and you will never leave subject line blank. This is very common mistake, people do it often. All right, so and whenever you send blank email, this is something very unprofessional. Nobody will accept this kind of email, so you should never try to do this kind of mistake. So in order to avoid it, start with the subject line. It will give you a direction and you will never leave it blank. Okay, so these are some activities. Ask me if you have any questions related to whatever we have discussed today. Structure of email writing. There are so many things to tell. I think we do not have that much time to discuss. You can see here. So write a subject line for the following situation. Sorry. You can read this scenario. You want to cancel the meeting with your boss. So how will you write exact and the appropriate subject line? Monday morning meeting cancelled. You can write canceling meeting about new project. You can also add necessary details like canceling meeting about new project on 10th of July 2022. So that will give you a clear and specific message to the receiver. So you should try to make your subject line brief, clear, and direct. According to this rule, you must write emails. Now, let me ask you one thing. What is the most important thing when you start writing an email? What is the first important thing you need to understand? Yes, subject, that is the purpose. Yogesh, very correct, correct. Everybody. Yes, Amna, Akansha, Shubham, subject. The purpose. Why am I writing? Okay. I want to inform someone, or I want to convince someone, or I expect a kind of response from my receiver. You need to understand the purpose of that email. Okay. And then who is the right person? Audience is also very important. So you need to understand who is the right person to receive that information and who is the right person to respond to that email which you are going to write. So you need to understand. Yes, salutation is also a very important part. We are yet to discuss salutation part. That is, Gaurav has already written dear sir and ma'am. S should be capital according to capitalization rule, Gaurav. Okay, just give me a few minutes. I'll be back in just 1 minute. Okay, so that's all for today. Whatever we have discussed, there are so many things yet to be discussed, like the salutation and how do you write greetings, how do you write the main part of the message, that is the introduction, body, and conclusion, and how should we write complimentary close, what kind of attachments we should use while writing emails. So rest of the things we can discuss in our next session. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Hope to see you all in next session. Thank you so much.